Going crazy in Arizona.
I was getting ready to kind of, the way that game ended and Tim Brando on the call, I was like, my word, the pageantry, what a big win. But then I'm like, you can hear the Lions fans. The Lions fans represented yesterday. 248-539-9797. Here's some feedback. Am I crazy for wanting N'Keal Harry? If the Lions fall out of the top 10, I'd consider it. I don't know where N'Keal Harry is going to end up. I do not think that N'Keal Harry is considered a first-round pick right now. And wide receiver from Arizona State, if you haven't seen him play. He is, in my eyes, the closest thing to Calvin Johnson since Calvin. And as far as just if you're wondering what style of receiver he is, big, strong, fast, all that, N'Keal Harry would be into that category. I don't think he's Calvin, but because if he was Calvin, he wouldn't be available in the second round. But he could be a second-day draft pick. Everyone clamoring for higher picks has yet to name that iconic team-changing player they would choose. Who is this must-have player?
Well, I think the same thing in this draft. When you look at this draft, what guy coming out is going to have that type of impact on an organization?
Well, I mean, if you're looking, it'd be great if the Lions got a shot at Greedy Williams, who's a great cover corner out of LSU, but they'd have to get all the way up to probably top 3 or 4, and I don't foresee that happening even if they lost that game. Next one from Mark and Dryden. I'm with you, Doug. A good coach in the number 14 pick is much better than a bad coach in the number 7 pick. If you tank, doesn't that mean losing is unacceptable? So how does that change our losing culture? Winning breeds winners. That's from Mike and Hudson. Last caller's my chump of the weekend. Pro athletes aren't tanking for a few unknown rookies. Grow up. Look, the tank theory, I think when you pointed out, and I hadn't thought about it, the depths that you went to, but it's so much harder to apply than people realize.
Yeah.
Telling pro football players not to try so we can draft your potential replacement is just unrealistic. Sitting guys that could play, everybody in the roster who's playing knows what you're doing, and it creates a weird dynamic in the culture. But 248-539-9797. Let's go to Darren on a cell. Hi, Darren.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How you doing?
So I just turned you guys on this morning, and heard you guys talking about the ballot being the awards.
Yes.
So for the Heisman.
Yes.
So my thought was you kind of treat it, it's kind of a weird twist to it, but you treat it like the debate for the college football playoff, right? So the college football playoff, everyone says, the Power Fives and this and that. So if you expand it, you do the Power Fives and plus a couple at-large bids, and then that gives you the UCF an opportunity, like the UCF and back in the day, the Boise States and whatnot. So my thing is you do what you guys said as far as the ballot, and with all the position awards, and then you throw in what would be your quote-unquote Power Five, like the equivalent of a Power Five. So then you'd have maybe 3 quarterbacks. If you have 3 like breakout year quarterbacks. So Dwayne Haskins, Kyler Murray, and Tua this year.
I don't even need to know that you have to go that far. I mean, once the Davey O'Brien Award's handed out, why do you need to put somebody else for the quarterback position? Look, there's somebody else, I guess, because they might be the second best player. But, the truth is, Darren, I just want people to look at non-traditional positions because it's absurd.
Right. Well, yeah, and I guess, because you guys say, well, it's becoming a quarterback award, or if you have Reggie Bush or a breakout, like a clear-cut best running back type thing, or best 2 running back, then that just gives the voters an opportunity to still vote for someone else, I guess. Hey. And the Heisman's kind of weird because it's not necessarily a most valuable player type deal, because you could make that argument too, but I don't know. That was my 2 cents. That was kind of just a theory I came up with.
I mean, I don't like what the award has turned into, and I guess it's kind of always been, but the momentum for change probably isn't there when it comes to the Heisman.
No, it's going to be this way as far as I can see it. I mean, the Heisman voters are going to vote the way they're going to vote, and it's going to be a quarterback, it's going to be a running back, it's going to be a guy with a high profile And the change I'd like to see made is the deadline, is that you're not allowed to cast your ballot until all college football games have been played.
I think they said 10% were turned in before championship weekend, which
with all those guys playing on championship weekend?
I would never do that. But Jerry in Detroit is next. Hi, Jerry.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up?
Nothing much. First, I'm going to preface it by saying I agree. I don't want them to lose. You know, I'm more concerned about what you got 40-something guys active each game. I'm more concerned about, 20 to 30 of those guys are going to be on the team next year. A lot of them are young. So I want them to win. I want them to learn, how to be successful. So I don't want them to tank, for a draft pick. But, in the defense of those that want that high draft pick, I don't think the first round is the spot that you're too much worried about picking 3 as opposed to maybe picking 10. The talent's kind of spread out. I'm not going to go through names, but the guy you're going to get at 3 versus 10 is not going to be too much different this year. A lot of defensive line talent. But in day 2 and day 3, the ability to pick at the top of the second round, I think, some guys are going to fall. Now, that would be intriguing because, a guy as talented as Rashawn Gary could very well be there at the beginning of round 2. So, for those that want to see, the draft pick be better, I think it's more so for round 2 and round 3. Round 1, the talent's pretty even.
Look, the guy who called and made there's been a couple of people that said it really doesn't matter, where it does matter.
Yes.
It matters to me, but what matters more to me is that the Lions have a competent coach. And he's not going to prove to me that he's competent in this last 4 weeks of the season, but he can prove to me that he's not.
Yeah, it's so much bigger than these rookies. They're unproven. A lot of guys in the top 5 don't pan out. You want to see the guys do good. If we're winning, that means, Galladay's probably looking good and Deshaun Ham's looking good. Guys are counting on
Jared Davis. Jared Davis.
Yes. And I want to see the guys that he has on the roster, all right? What is he doing to improve their performance on the field? Is it a assistant coach issue? Is it a coordinator issue? Is it a head coach issue? What are they doing to improve the performance that they have on the field right now? And at this point in the season, one of the last callers talking about the long shot that the Lions have to actually make the playoffs. I think you take that out of the equation right now. But what I want to see is constant improvement. And I've seen it on the defensive side of things. Where I haven't seen it all season long is on the offense. Yes, our running game is better when Jon Jansen is in there. But what has Matt done to improve this offense?
In these last 4 weeks of the season, too, we're going to see some things that determine which way they go in the draft. Like, I'll give you an example here. Last couple of weeks, maybe, just maybe, they've got a tight end in Levine Toilolo. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe they do. I don't know yet. But when he's making plays, contributing to winning, I'd rather and hope that that's a box they can check and not another position they have to draft come draft day. Feedback, Belichick pulled the reverse Caldwell. He was looking for a 70-yard Hail Mary versus the back and forth kind of thing. That's from Jesse in Dearborn. Yep. Detroit native living in New England. Fans are calling in irate at Belichick going back to the Super Bowl and Butler not playing. No one cares about the Super Bowls today. I actually can't help but laugh. That's from an unnamed texter. From Dan in a work van. Stafford needs to go immediately. Shouldn't have screwed themselves signing to this fat contract. I mean, the he needs to go talk is fine until you start talking about the cap hit that would be on next year's cap and take up all the free agent money. Some people would say, go ahead and do it. Suck next year, too.
Well, it just depends on how creative they can be. And there are some things that there's just no creativity that you can use. $30 million cap hit is a $30 million cap hit.
Yeah, I'm not 100% opposed to trying to move Matthew Stafford, but
trying to get it done is
it's really difficult. Listening to these people call in, talk about a loser mentality. To purposely set up to lose games is cheating, plain and simple. It's not a strategy. It's cheating. That's from Joe. I'm not too worried about the integrity. I just don't think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Champ, Ferris State for making the title game in football after already winning the championship in basketball earlier this year. It's from an unnamed texter. Champ, Max Holloway. Chump, Stat, Patford.